originally recorded in Maple Grove, Minnesota on February 23rd, 2011. Our current lending environment. FHA has once again implemented some changes that will take effect April 1st, 2011. You'll remember that we had a decrease in upfront mortgage insurance premium from 2.25% of total loan amount to 1% of total loan amount recently. At that same time, we had an increase of 0.55% of total loan amount to 0.9% total loan amount on annual insurance premium. The latter of those, the annual insurance premium, is now being raised to 1.15% of total insurance premium. What this means on a $200,000 loan, maybe $15 to $20 more per month for our borrowers and buyers. As of April 1st, 2011, we'll also be implementing some lender compensation changes. On the broker side, lenders will only be able to charge on the origination side of the loan or the sales side of the loan. What that means for consumers, because we're limited in compensation, we feel like closing costs are going to be fixed and less competition, so therefore closing costs will go up. We also think that because those costs are fixed and there's less competition, that naturally interest rates will rise. How does this affect you as realtors? We feel like with increased costs and increased interest rate, we'll have a harder time qualifying people, which might dampen an already bleak market. How this will affect lenders and LOs. Those of us that are left will be taking a haircut in our pay, another haircut, I guess I should say. As far as Tom and Sheldon and I go at Summit Mortgage, we're well positioned to still offer low closing costs and low interest rates to our borrowers. Our current rate environment. As you know, over the past couple of months, we've had a pretty tough rate environment. Rates have gone almost 100 basis points since October. How is it that we decide whether or not we're going to recommend a lock or a float to our clients? Well, what we do on a day-to-day basis is we sit in front of what we call our MBS dashboard. This allows us to track mortgage-backed securities on a tick-by-tick basis. We follow the various coupons, whether it might be the Fannie Mae 4.5 coupon for March or the Ginnie Mae 4.5 coupon for March. What we do is we watch the trades tick by tick, and as you can see here, on the 22nd, we were up 11 ticks. What this says to us is we've got a decreasing interest rate and a decreasing closing cost environment, so we're going to make sure that we recommend that our clients float at this point. You'll see a 5-day look. You'll see the trend is definitely up in mortgage-backed securities from Valentine's Day on through about the 22nd of the month. What we basically find here is during those 5 trading sessions, we've had a definite rise in mortgage-backed securities, so interest rates are lower. Therefore, closing costs are lower. You'll see what's happened over a 3-month period. Starting on October 22nd of 2011, you'll see we're sitting at about 4%. I can tell you that just from memory. As we move all the way down to the beginning of February, where we're at our highest point, we were up to 5, maybe 5.25, depending on what your investor was. I think the highest rate that we saw at Summit was about 5 1/8. You see how we start our upward trend on about the 11th of the month. That's where we're sitting right now, and we're recommending to most of our clients, unless we're closing in the next few days, floating. I'm going to pass over to Tom Jackson, my business partner. He's going to start our Outlook number 1, the basics presentation.
Just like it sounds, the basics. So this might be a refresher for some of you, might be a little redundant at sometimes, but I think some of you will find this useful, and what it's going to end up being is just the foundation for what we're going to build over a couple of classes here. So today we're going to talk about using tasks effectively. We're going to talk about creating your specific email signature and the importance of doing that. We're going to talk about using your calendar effectively to better manage your time and your partner's time. Using attachments inside Outlook to relay documents and other things needed. And then Mike will go through outside emails and getting them into Outlook so you can use that as kind of your main battle station regardless of who your provider of internet is, whether it's Gmail for your mail or if you've got company-wide Exchange, depends where you're at. Specifically, Outlook tasks. We're going to start with tasks because a task list is a very important thing if you want to get anything done in this day and age, whether you're talking professionally or personally. And some useful tips when doing a task or kind of just creating your task list to keep you efficient is write the task and the reason why. Kind of an example I give here is use an action verb, the task itself, and the reason why you're doing it. So an example here would be call Caroline at their number to transfer the insurance into my name for car registration. You apply that to anything you want or need there. Always keep your task list with you and have access to it because you're going to be crossing things off or adding things to it. And in this day and age, it's a little bit easier with all the smartphones and usefulness there with iPhones and Droids, et cetera, et cetera. Always review and prioritize and reprioritize your task list so you are getting the most out of it and what it can do for you. So here's what, you're in Outlook, and here's what your screen would look like for getting ready to set up a task. And what I did here was this little screen capture to show you what it looks like. And you'll see as this goes on that there'll be a little alarm that goes off in the bottom of my screen there showing Outlook is blinking. I'll go hover over that. I'll see my reminders came up. The top reminder is have Mike create a signature portion for the presentation. So he can get that to me. So that was on my agenda list, my personal task that I had set for myself, and it's setting a reminder to make sure that that was done. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new task to show you how to do that. Go to the Home tab up there, go to New Task. I click on that, and it kind of comes up, and it's very, very self-explanatory here. You just type in what your task is. Subject is Outlook number 1, signatures. And specifically on that, the portion that explains how to create it. The date that I'm assigning it was the 18th, that day. I'm having to do that day. And it's a high priority item that I'm going to get done. I'm going to remind myself that needs to be done and set up ASAP. Mike will get a little note from me here in the subject box. In the subject box, you can type, you can drag in documents, you can drag in Excel spreadsheets, PDFs, you can put little videos, anything you want in there that will help you accomplish or your team accomplish that task. So I type, please complete the signature capture portion of the presentation so I can get it in PowerPoint and finish the project. I go up to assign the task on the top toolbar there where it says, and then I type in Mike's name, and it comes up to his email because that's where it's going to get sent to. I like to use categories because you can do quick searches of your calendar, your tasks, and everything else by categories and sorts. Once again, just another efficiency tool. And then I send it off like it's an email. It lets me know that since I'm no longer the owner of that task, I don't get to set reminders on it. Mike can do that on his own. I go back into my original task list and mark that one as complete, that I did delegate that to Mike off my own task list, and then that comes off my task list as done. And it lets me also know that I'm waiting for a response from Mike, and it will keep me updated as he gets portions of that task completed. Maybe he gets 50% of it done and puts that in there. It'll let me know it's half done and we're on our way. So that's the beauty of the task and how you get to do it in Outlook. Things to remember when creating an effective task, when we all used to do tasks that look like this: cocktail napkin, scrap of paper, wherever. You leave it in your car, you leave it at a meeting, and you're lost. That's the beauty of the PDFs or personal phones and smartphones that we've got now, PDAs. But you want to make sure you always put your start date, your due date. Put a reminder on there so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Then you can get rid of these lists and have everything sync up to your smartphone. That way your smartphone will ring, you'll get that Pavlovian dog response, and off to your next topic. I'm going to hand it over to Mike now to talk a little bit about how and why we want to do specific signatures in your Outlook.
Our first step in creating a signature in Outlook will start from our Outlook dashboard. This is where you can add a new calendar item, add a new task, start a new email. For our purposes today, we'll start at File, which is whenever we want to start any sort of task in Outlook, we'll start at the File menu. So we'll click File, and we're going to go to Options. Most of the time when you need to make change in Outlook, you'll go to File, then Outlook, Options. Then we'll click our Mail tab, which will bring up this screen. We'll click Signatures because we're going to create a signature. I have a bunch of signatures that I can choose from here. I'm going to go ahead and delete the ones that I'm not using so we're not confused. You'll notice here that I have a bunch of different signatures, and I just use these signatures for different events. Maybe one for corporate communication, one for personal communication, one for new clients, one for past clients, one for purchases, one for refis. I've clicked New. I'm going to name this signature MG for our purposes today. Now I'm going to start adding my contact information. My first and last, what it is that I do, what my position is. I'm going to make sure and be aware of capitalization and spelling. Again, I'm going to be make sure and aware of capitalization. There we go. Not the best typer in the world, but I get her done hunt and peck style. I want to tell folks where it is that I work and what the best way to get a hold of me is. In this case, my cell phone number. I also pick up some documents via fax. I'll include that in my signature as well. Most importantly, most of my business applications are done on my website at loansandfocus.com. You'll see when I type www, it hyperlinks to that site. Outlook is advanced enough where we don't need to do anything more than that. I'll type in my email address, and when this appears in my signature, you'll also be able to click that to go right to an email. I'm also going to add my my Twitter feed as well. The next task that we're going to accomplish is taking text and adding a hyperlink to that text. In this case, I'm going to take my corporate name and I'm going to hyperlink that text to my corporate website rather than my personal website. So here I'll type the summit.com address in the address bar. Now you'll see that it's hyperlinked directly to that website. Our next task will be to add either my picture or my logo to my website. You'll see I click the picture icon over there. That'll bring up my Docs folder. Hopefully it'll take it directly to your My Pictures folder where I happen to keep my logo. You'll see here I could use any picture of me or, in this case, my iPhone. I'll scroll down. In this case, I'm going to use the Summit logo. We'll scroll down on the signature and you'll see that that's in there and centered automatically just perfectly. On any new message, I'm going to want to include the MG signature. When I have any replies or forwards, I'm going to choose not to include it. I'll click OK, and then we'll see this in action. Now I'm going to go to New Email, which is where I start whenever I want to send an email. You'll see how that new signature is already defaulted into this new email. Underneath that logo, you might want to put your legalese, like if you're not the intended recipient, please destroy. I'm going to click T. Outlook's smart enough to know that Tom Jackson is my most popular T. I'm going to tell Tom he has some free time coming up. He's excited about that up until this point. I'm guessing at this point he may be picking up the phone. Just having a little fun with you, Tom. Why Outlook signatures are important. I think it's our #1 branding tool. We want to make sure that our clients and our coworkers and our friends and family view us as professionals. A solid signature can help with that. I want to make sure that those same folks get easy access to our information so they can forward it along and make referring us business as easy as possible. We'll take that opportunity in our signature to promote other sites like our Facebook, our Twitter feed, or our personal websites. All of the guys that I work with, Tom and Sheldon, and all of our support staff and the other loan officers all use a similar signature. There's a lot of different Summit branches out there, but you know when you get an email from one of our guys or gals, you'll see that gray Summit logo and know it's from us.